Yo, what is up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I am highlighting my buddy Josh's deck. If you're familiar with this channel at all, Josh is the old co-host of the Twin Sons podcast, and we were covering Legends of Runeterra, and he is happily playing Marvel Snap along with myself. So today I'm going to highlight one of his decks, discuss its strengths, weaknesses, what the game plan is, show off a little bit of gameplay after, so stick around for that as well. So essentially this deck is sort of like a control style deck. Now, control is kind of a weird word to use in Snap since the games are so quick. You're not going to push into long games, but essentially you're just trying to control two different locations. So that's all. I mean, obviously that kind of sounds like, oh, every deck wants to do that. Well, you do it really just by focusing on one location and then ideally playing a massive unit on the other. And then you completely lock those two locations down, and you don't even worry about what's happening in the middle of the board. So how do we do that? Well, there is one main way to control the first location, and the first location that you want to control is early on, so up to turn 4. So the best way to do that is the combination of Storm. So Storm is a 3 energy 2 power unit. On reveal, flood this location. Next turn is the last turn cards can be played here, so it actually replaces whatever location it is, so she counts as like a location killing card as well, and you only have one more turn to play cards there. The combination of Storm and then either of the next really 3, but mainly 2, are insanely powerful. So playing Storm on 3, followed by Jessica Jones, is insane. So you get a 4 power unit right after, and then since that location can't have any more units added to it, you'll then go up to 8 power with Jessica Jones, which on turn 4 is normally enough to win that location. After that's going to block it, unless they have a lot of movement shenanigans. Or Warpath, who is a 4 power or 4 energy 5 power unit, but he has an ongoing effect that if any of the locations are empty on your side of the board, he gains plus 4 power. So that's 9 power for 4 energy. That's an even stronger Jessica Jones, and ideally this deck is going to have one location empty at all times. Then you have Jubilee as the other option, so you can kind of get lucky. If you have Storm, you flood the location, then you play Jubilee. You're running 3 6-drops, which are really powerful units that you could pull with Jubilee out of your deck and pretty much lock down a location. So how the early game works is really you either play Sunspot or Iceman if you have them, Scorpion or Armor if you have those. If you don't, you just kind of let that energy go right into Sunspot. So he will gain energy or gain power for every energy that's unspent. And Iceman and Scorpion are just kind of controlling the opponent's hand a little bit. They give a random card in the opponent's hand +1 cost, while Scorpion gives cards in your opponent's hand -1 power, so that's a little bit of a control aspect to the game. You use those 3 early cards, and Armor as well, who really will just kind of protect Sunspot from Killmonger or Elektra. It's really the main reason Armor's in here, or to shut down opposing destroy decks, so that's also a solid account for this unit. But you're going to play some of these early units if you have them. You're going to then, on turn 3, drop Storm, ideally, and then you're going to drop any one of your 4 drops right where you just dropped Storm. That location will be closed off after that, and then if you have the Infinite, who can only use a 6 energy 20 power unit, he can only be played if you played no cards the previous turn. So you have to essentially skip turn 5. Now, doing so when you have a card like Sunspot out is great. You just get 5 extra energy on Sunspot, and then you can still play the Infinite, which is great. But you're going to skip turn 5, and you'll hopefully have won the location that Storm and any of these 4 drops went to, and then you'll skip turn 5 and just play the Infinite for 20 power at one of the other locations, ideally keeping one location empty if you have Warpath, and then you'll drop a 20 power thing and swing a location on turn 6 really hard. The other cards, essentially, America Chavez is in the deck, mainly because you'll draw her on turn 6 if you don't have the Infinite, and you'll get her, but she actually makes you run an 11-card deck, so you can't draw this card before turn 6. So essentially, you'll be drawing cards from the other 11 cards, so you're like kind of running an 11-card deck, because on turn 6 you'll draw America Chavez. But she's still in your deck, so Jubilee could pull her. That's a really cool aspect of America Chavez. She essentially lets you run a 1 less card deck to give you a higher probability to hit the other cards. Jubilee can also just hit the Infinite himself, which if you do that, then you probably just won whatever location Jubilee's at. And then the Hulk is just another big body in here to get pulled out by Jubilee. Rhino is just a ruin the location in case another location is kind of going eerie. So you have 2 different turn 3 options that can ruin a location, but he's definitely Rhino and Armor and even the Hulk, I think, are flex spots. They could be switched out for other things, but I do like the rest of the cards. I think they should be kind of staples here. And again, this is I'm in some pool 2 gameplay right now. Haven't reached pool 3 yet, so that's where I'm playing this deck at. If you don't have the Infinite in your hand, then obviously on turn 5, feel free to play whatever you can. And you know, you don't have a 5-drop, so you'll probably be playing a mix of a 4 and a 1 or something along those lines. But one of the biggest words of advice I can give you for this deck is actually wanting to snap on turn 3 or turn 4 a lot. So if you have a, you know, Storm plus any of Jubilee, Jessica Jones, Warpath, and the Infinite in hand by turn 3 or 4, you want to snap. Essentially, you're going to try to shut down that location with Storm, skip turn 5, play the Infinite, and you should win that game. So it's a very controlled deck. You kind of need to hit the right combos of cards. If you do, you can snap early. Hopefully the opponent thinks they still have a shot, will stay in the game, and then you can win cubes that way. If you don't hit your combo pretty quickly, if you notice your hand kind of spiraling out, you haven't seen what you needed, it's a good time to retreat. It's kind of a deck that it can win a lot of games. I think it'll have a good win percentage, but there are some games that are just not going to be won, and that's okay. That's the whole snap mechanic is built around that, so you'll just have to retreat if you need to. So I'm going to jump in to show you some gameplay, hopefully get a couple games in for you. If you've enjoyed up to here, leave a like, leave a subscription to the channel for me, drop a comment below what else you guys want to see. If you're still hanging around, I appreciate it. Enjoy some gameplay coming right up. Alright, so we got Rhino, the Infinite, and Iceman, which is good, and Storm, so that feels pretty good. So we really want to see one of our 4-drops coming up, and then we can snap on turn 3. But to start, Iceman's fine. We'll just put Iceman on Stark Tower. Get a little control, try to slow his deck down a little bit. So the Kiln comes out, cards can't be played there after turn 4. So Scorpion's a really good top deck. I really love the Iceman Scorpion combo. It just slows the opponent down just a nudge, which is super solid. So we're going to hopefully just give up the Kiln, try to win Stark Tower and whatever this last location is. Well, that's pretty insane. So we'll snap because that just happened, and that doesn't always happen. But we were feeling pretty good anyway. We're going to put Storm on the left side here. That's going to shut down this location. And I already have the early presence here. So if he would have played like something here on turn 1, and I played Iceman there, maybe I would have moved to a different location with Storm. But I'm totally okay with just letting Storm take this location and run with it. So you play Bucky Barnes middle. Again, we don't really care. Now, we could do something like Armor just to screw with Bucky Barnes, but we don't care that he has the middle location. It doesn't matter anymore. We really want to play something on this left side to secure this location. And now, the rest of our focus will go to the right location. So you see, you kind of can win a game that quick. Obviously, Sakar hit, but we were feeling pretty good anyway. We would have skipped turn 5 to drop the Infinite on turn 6. And we had a really good start. Like, even though we don't have a 4-drop, we're still locking this location down. We would have given the Kiln up, and then essentially we would have skipped turn 5 and then played the Infinite there. That's pretty much the premise of the deck. Alright, so we got a 2, a 3, and Infinite, and now we drew a 1. So, feel pretty cool about this so far. So we're going to focus on one location to start, like we try to do. And then we're going to hopefully skip our turn 5 and try to win a second location with the Infinite. That's going to be our game plan. So we are not going to be able to do Infinite, or we're not going to be able to play our lower things here. We can't play Infinite here, but I'm probably going to end up ruining this location with Rhino anyway. Let's see what he's playing. Alright, so he's got a move deck coming in. +5 energy this turn is pretty crazy, so that definitely changes things. So we're going to play the Hulk and Sunspot on the right side here. We'll see what he ends up getting out. So again, we're just trying to focus on these two locations. On turn 4, I could still ruin the big house with Rhino and then play Infinite there if I have to. This turn's a big turn for what he's going to do. Depending on where he dictates is where we're going to focus. But we want to split it up so we have the option to focus at 2 different places if we need to. Alright, well, he took his good old time, but got Hulk, Sunspot coming out. He's got Heimdall and Cloak coming out. Alright, so next turn, I can move my things to this location, which is cool. And we have Sunspot out, so I'm going to throw It is kind of a hard decision here. I think I'm going to throw everything over there and then try to win this right location with Infinite. I think is my plan. Actually, you know what? Let me undo that. I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Hulk there and leave Sunspot on the right location. I feel like that's a good bit of power here. And he moved two multiple mans there, which isn't a ton of power. We moved Hulk and Rhino. So we got a good bit of power. We got to see what he ended up playing. Bucky Barnes and Carnage is interesting. But we feel good. I'm going to snap. I'm skipping turn 5 to play the Infinite. So all 5 power is going to go to Sunspot. He'll be at 8 power. And then we can add 20 to that 8. So we'll have 28 on the right. I feel confident I'll win the left with this 20 here. So hopefully 28 gets me through winning the right side as well. And we'll see if it does. You got Iron Fist and Vulture. So Vulture is going to move to the middle, which we don't care about. We're giving him the middle location anyway. America Chavez comes into our hand. We play the Infinite here. So we got 20 here. If he can move Vulture again this side, which I don't think there's anything that does that. Yeah, he just plays Hulkbuster. Gets the +3 on Carnage. But dropping 20 power in the middle is really strong there. So we win 2 locations. And again, that's the whole aspect of the game. The cool thing is we got to actually use Sunspot, getting the 5 energy on turn 5 that we didn't want to play a card to really secure the win. Because he could have played something more than 3 power or more than 4 power like Hulkbuster. He had a spot here. It could have been a 12 or something. But you see, we're literally 12 ahead of already the 4 that he just added. So we are securing this location. We secured the left location, and that's how the deck works. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Shout out to Josh for making this awesome deck. If you guys want to follow along for more, make sure to drop a subscription to the channel. That helps grow us a lot. We appreciate that. Leave a like, leave a comment, follow us on Twitter for a ton more decks, constantly posting about Marvel Snap and other card games. So follow along, and thanks for all the follows and recent subscriptions. Peace out.